Hey, what's going on? This is Mac from Always Customs. I just want to talk to you about starting a brand. So you want to start the clothing brand. Um, I want to talk to you a little bit more about what to do when you're starting out. First things first, you want to figure out what you want to sell. It's very simple. A lot of brands usually come out selling one thing, one main thing. Typically, you'll see brands starting out with just selling maybe shoes, ties, hats, shirts, etc., different things like that. You always want to start off with one thing and then kind of work your way up. If you look at Nike model, a lot of shoe companies start off just selling shoes. That's why they're known as shoe companies. So you definitely don't want to spread yourself too wide and thin because it'll be tougher for you to sell a lot of items if you're trying to come out the gate selling 20, 30 items, hats, shirts, shoes, belts, chains, all kinds of crazy things. So definitely stick to one item and then expand from there. You also want to then decide on your brand name. You want to figure out what the name of your brand is. Say, hey, my name for my clothing line is Hoop Dreams. Then you want to work out from there. Like, okay, I want to figure out my logo. It's got to be something that'll be closely tied to my name of the brand. And then you want to expand from that. So you want to find a graphic designer. I typically go to Fiverr.com. It's really great. They got a lot of different designers there. You can spend, $10, $20. You can get pretty good logos made. I usually would go to maybe 2 or 3 different designers and kind of play around and see, who has the best style that'll probably fit my needs. You always want to make sure you get the source files. Is really important because if you're getting things printed up, you want to make sure you're getting the proper files and not JPEGs or PNGs, different things like that. I know a lot of designers usually do all kinds of sparkly things and add texture backgrounds. You don't need any of those before you're just starting out for something that you want to get printed. That'll just get in the way of your printer or your embroiderer, and it'll make things a hassle. So after that, after you get your design and you figure out the item you want to sell, you got to figure out how much people are paying for that item. Do some market research. Look and see who your competitors are. Say, for a prime example, if I'm starting out just selling hats, I'm going to look and see, well, what hats are selling in my area, whatever target market that I'm looking at. Say, hey, I'm looking at starting a skate brand selling hats. I might go out to a skate park and see what hats people got on and then go from there, look up like, okay, well, I know these hats are selling for $25 to $30, so I can probably sell hats in about that price range. Then I probably want to find some manufacturers who can probably make me hats and a profit margin I feel comfortable in. Maybe I want to spend maybe no more than $10 for a hat. So, okay, I need to find someone who can give me that price range. If necessary, you might have to spend a little bit of money to get hats in that price range. But typically, whenever you're buying any apparel, the more you buy, the cheaper the price per. A lot of times you're starting out, you don't have a lot of money. I'll make other videos going into depth in regards to how you can get the best bang for your buck when you don't have a lot of money. When you don't have a lot of money, you got to be creative. Like the less money you have, the more creative you have to be because you don't have the options to just spend money and just buy a whole lot of things in bulk. So once you get the products made, it's very important and very crucial to make content. You have to. I deal with a lot of customers. I'll make their merchandise. They'll pick it up. Weeks will go by. I won't hear from them. And then I go on their Instagram pages because I'm one of those people who I really care about my customers. I want to kind of help my customers build up their brands. And, so I'm looking through Instagram pages. A lot of business pages are blocked. A lot of the times there's no pictures whatsoever, which is kind of tough if you're building a brand. Because if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around, did that tree fall? Probably, but nobody knows. So you want to kind of treat that the same as your brand. Everybody should know. There shouldn't be any person you're having a conversation with that doesn't know you have a brand. It should be the same with any type of business. If you're having a conversation with someone and they're like, oh, I didn't know you had a business, you've kind of failed because your job with your business is to promote your business every single chance you get. So you definitely want to keep that in the back of your head whenever you're having a conversation with someone. Definitely want to make sure you're out, wearing your brand, talking about your brand 24/7. Get people tired of talking to you without you not mentioning your brand. Because that'll be like, people will be like, all right, let me just buy something to shut them up. Hey, it is what it is. Your goal is to create brand awareness. And also, in turn, when people buy more and more things from you in regards to your brand, they'll typically want to tell other people about your brand. So, definitely, that's something that's very important. I cannot stress this enough. You need social engagement. Prime example, a lot of our customers have referred other customers to us who've then referred other customers to us. So sometimes we have maybe customers 4 or 5 layers deep of just referrals. Referrals is very crucial for any business. Some people might have heard of it being referred to as a warm market. So it's a lot easier to market to people who know about your product. Prime example, Nike. Um, Everybody knows about Nike, but you more than likely heard about Nike from someone else or seeing them constantly. But you get that initial first base of, okay, people are recognizing my brand. People are buying things for my brand. I've expanded. I've started adding other products. I've started listening to customers saying, hey, do you make this? Do you make hats? Do you make hoodies? Do you make shirts? Then you can expand, but you always want to make sure that you're expanding to to what you're comfortable with. So, for instance, if you start off with hats and you're selling hats, and a lot of people will say, "Hey, can you do sweatsuits? Can you do shirts? Can you do shorts? This, that, and the third," and you don't have the funds or you don't have the infrastructure or team around you to help you expand to get into all those markets, it's very important that you don't overextend yourself. Also, building a team is crucial. I know a lot of people say, I don't have any help. You can always find at least 1 or 2 people in your inner circle who is willing to help you, whether it be someone who can take pictures and send it to you, or someone who doesn't mind helping out as far as packaging orders or dropping things off to the mail, something like that. Someone around you will want to help you in some aspect, especially if they see people, you know, wearing your brand. You're getting a lot of brand recognition. You're taking nice photos. Whether you got to give them maybe some merch or something like that, it's always important to make sure that you're paying people. I cannot stress this enough. Paying people is one of the most important things in any business, because if you don't pay people and you try to cheat people, that'll leave a bad taste in people's mouths. And in the end, they won't want to support you. They'll talk negatively about you and about your brand. And ultimately, you are your brand. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. Um, Another good thing to use, if you don't necessarily have people who will want to model your items, or say, for instance, you haven't received your products yet, um, always get mockups. Mockups are really good things to sell to help you place it. .net is a great website where you can have your logo superimposed on t-shirts, hoodies, different things like that, so you can see how things are kind of look before you get it. Also, you can post it on your social media. You can have people, rate how they feel about certain items. It can be a contest, or people can do likes and say, hey, which of these items would y'all like to buy? And then you can kind of gauge people's interest from there. So if you got hats that are doing really good in a particular color, um, then you can say, hey, all right, this will be the hat that I'm dropping this time. You always want to make sure that you're not dropping too many colors too fast. You definitely want to start off with maybe 1 or 2 colors, A lot of times, even with 6 years in the business, we typically don't usually start off with more than two or three colors at a time. Because if you have too many colors, people will want too many items, or they might not want any items. And I know a lot of the mentality behind that is, all right, well, if I have four different colors of shirts, that customer will want to buy four shirts, or I'll have more options available for them. It could end up hurting you in the process, and you could end up being a storage company, which nobody really wants to do that. So you definitely want to make sure that you're spending your money wisely. Another thing that a lot of people do is when they want to start a brand, they buy equipment and they say, hey, I want to try to make my brand. I want to make everything for my brand, which I definitely understand and get it that, a lot of people have that DIY mindset. But when you think about the time, the hours spent trying to learn how to do it, the trial and error, spend the money on equipment, sometimes it just makes better sense to just leave that to professionals. Prime example, I sell 100 shirts, full color design for $9 a shirt with the shirt. If you're selling shirts for $25, that means you're making a $16 profit. Your time is worth that $16, not that $9. I understand a lot of people want to maximize on their profit, but you got to make sense when you're just starting out that the whole goal of your company is to focus on selling your product. That time spent getting your product developed, you can be focused on preparing your customers for it. You can be doing pre-sales, pre-orders, doing all kinds of content after you've received the initial samples and, run a while. So definitely make sure that you're not just doing things because you see other people doing. Um, this is constantly evolving and constantly growing. There's nothing wrong with trying new things. If you got items that don't sell a lot, switch it up. Also, it's very important to pay attention to seasons. In certain seasons and in certain areas, you can get away with selling shorts year round if you want, or sweatsuits. Um, Hats always sell. You can sell hats all day long, all year long, 24/7. It's a lot easier for people to pick up an adjustable hat. The dad hats are really popular. People wear them all year round. And sometimes it's a lot easier than trying to get specific sizes for everybody, as far as like shirts and sweatsuits and other products and different things like that. Someone might easily pick up a hat versus picking up a sweatsuit, especially when you're selling things at like pop-up shops and farmers markets and different things like that. So definitely want to keep that in the back of your head. You always want to make sure that you're out in public and you're really spreading your brand. I cannot stress this enough. Brand awareness is crucial. Just like when you go outside and you see everybody wearing Gallery Department or Mary Jeans, Gucci, Burberry, Jordan, Yeezy, different things like that. The brand awareness is really important. That's what's thrusted into the spotlight because after a while, once your brand becomes the new hot thing, now you can up your prices because people are comfortable paying a higher price for something because your brand has awareness built. It's a lot tougher just starting out for you to sell $200 sweatsuits if nobody's ever heard of your brand. So you definitely want to make sure that you're thinking about those decisions. Unless you have some kind of clout and people want to follow you, you definitely want to make sure that you're not overextending yourself. I'll be making more videos to go in depth into a few different things in regards to being creative with how you get products with very little money. Also, get into the design side of things with different sites like Placeit, using Fiverr, uh, pixeler, remove background, different things like that. So make sure you watch the videos, like, comment, subscribe. Um, and I'll be dropping a brand worksheet that'll be helpful. You can download it, you can fill it out for your brand, and if necessary, we can schedule um, a brand meeting and we can talk and we can figure out ways to help you with your specific brand because I'm here to help. Again, Mac from Always Customs. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.